is Craig, and I am starting Craig Weaver's opioid crisis movement for the simple fact that for 3.5 decades it has tried to take my life. It almost has many times, but I'm here. And it's a subject that is so deep to me because of just the things that have happened to me. And the way I got addicted is amazing, because I used to be a jock. I was a football player. I was a wrestler. I was going to IUP. Things were going great. Now, I did my partying. I went out. I smoked some pot. I drank with my buddies. Had a great bunch of friends. But a football accident, injury, I was playing for IUP, and a guy hit me right above the knee, and my femur busted right in half. I'm talking crack. They said they could hear it 100 yards away. And I just remember passing in and passing out and coming to and going out, but I ended up in the hospital, and I'm laying there, and all my friends are throwing up around me. They couldn't even look at it. My leg was actually hanging on with my skin, just tendons and skin. And I can remember all of a sudden walks in this man that looked like a homeless man, shirt tail hanging out, his hair was every which way, he stunk. And I remember this whenever I'm like coming in and out of consciousness. I will never forget it. Hey, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and I'm going to be your bone surgeon, and I'm going to fix you right up. And I'm laying there going, what the hell? Am I in the Twilight Zone? So anyways, I had to be put in traction because my break was so intense, and it was so close to the kneecap they couldn't pin it. Mm-hmm. And I had to be in traction for 3 months with a 20-pound weight hanging off the edge of the bed. Well, in those 3 months, I'll never forget my regimen. Every 3 to 4 hours was morphine, and in between that, for breakthrough pain, was Percocets, Loracets, Vicodin, muscle relaxers, Valium. In other words, every single day, I was taking 28 pills, and every 4 hours, morphine. And every day I just started to be in la la land, and a friend of mine brings in a little bong, and I befriended a nurse, which I became very close with this nurse. Actually, she used to straddle the bars and be very friendly with me.
Ooh.
Yeah, it made my hospital stay a little better.
Sure.
But I had a little one-hit bong in my drawer, and she'd bring me in pot. You know, that was the big thing back then. But I was taking all these opiates, and back then you didn't know much about them. I mean, I just figured, you know, hey, I'm here, and I got to lay flat on my back without being able to move.
Right.
Get up for...
I also broke my femur.
Oh, my God.
Playing football.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it wasn't a compound fracture like that, but I broke it, and I have 2 pins in my right knee.
See, they
to this
couldn't
day.
pin mine.
Yeah. I mean, yours sounds awful. It was a compound fracture. You said there was
ligaments. It just... The whole thing went snap right in half, and it did it right above the kneecap, so that it was the widest part of the
Did you have to have a full replacement? Well, I guess you'll get to that.
Here's what he did.
Sure.
He puts a 20-pound weight. Now, figure how bad the pain is, number one. Just
I know what it was for
broken.
me, but I can't imagine.
And then figure 20 pounds pulling on it constantly.
Yeah.
What it did was it pulled the bone together, and he said, you're probably going to be crippled the rest of your life. He said, you're probably going to have a limp, a bad limp. But it healed with an 80 degrees, with a 20-degree discrepancy. But here's the kicker. 3 months on my back, and I'm becoming very good friends with I'll call him Dr. B, okay? Don't want to say his real name. So, anyways...
Don't call me Dr. B. I'm Brandon. Dr. B.
Okay.
Dr. Mike Hawk.
Dr. B.
That's me.
That's a good name for him, actually.
Yeah.
Dr. Bullshit. So, anyways, here's what happened, is I left the hospital, and they had to put a full-length cast on me, okay?
Okay.
And I had to wear a cast for almost 2 years.
One of those hard casts.
Yeah. And then it was the whole way up, baby. That thing, I couldn't move my leg. Mm-hmm. So I had to see Dr. B all the time. Mm-hmm. And back then they had UNL refills, unlimited refills of Percocets.
Can you imagine that these days? Oh my.
Well, I was everybody's friend.
I'm sure you were.
Okay,
Sure.
now, here's what's nobody can believe. Not only was Dr. B a little crazy, but Dr. B was also an addict.
Oh.
Dr. B was a chief bone surgeon in the Vietnam War, and he was so addicted to morphine. His family was addicted, his wife was addicted. You see, after I got out of the hospital, I had to quit college. My whole life took a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
Number one, I was massively addicted to opiates. I had
Yeah.
no clue how bad. But
Yeah.
I was so addicted, I couldn't go to college anymore. I started a home delivery steak and seafood business, and Dr. B became a food customer of mine.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm taking food to Dr. B's house. I would go to his office, right?
Okay.
He would just check mark everything he wanted. I called it the slum mansion. I would deliver food to the slum mansion.
Well, yeah.
He was an addict, and the
Sure.
place was just in shambles.
Was it?
His 3 kids were a mess. He had 2 boys and a daughter, about teenagers.
Were they also addicted?
They were, one would be high, one would be low,
Wow.
one would be sideways.
Just to different things.
Different drugs.
Gotcha.
Different drugs. And his wife, all you could hear upstairs was, "Where's my morphine?" I'll never forget that. I'd be taking food out of his freezer that was old, ugly
Yeah.
freezer burnt crap, and putting my food in it, listening to this woman screaming, "Where's my morphine?" So they took me up to meet her one time. This woman was only 50 some years old, and she looked like 90. She couldn't have weighed more than 80 pounds.
Yeah.
And she had hair going everywhere, and she never got out of bed. But that's all I ever heard her say is, "Where's my morphine?" And then one day, I'm filling the freezer, and
Now, are you still addicted at this point as well?
I'm majorly addicted.
Okay.
He became friends with me, Dr. B.
Yes.
He was giving me anything I wanted. And at the time, that's like...
That's a dangerous combo, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Because
and it
you don't want that. And long term, I mean, looking back on it, that's something that's not good, obviously. But at the moment,
At the moment, I had no clue what was going on.
Right.
All I knew is if I didn't have a pill in 6 hours, I started feeling like crap. And,
Dr. B made it better.
Dr. B always came through.
Sure.
Now, I'm delivering food to him one day. Here's the hit. Dr. B comes home. The wife's bitching, "Where's my morphine?" He goes upstairs. I'm there.
Sure.
Silence. No more bitching, but she never says another word. And finally the daughter goes, "Boy, Mom's awful quiet." She goes upstairs. We hear the daughter scream, "Mom's dead."
No.
He gave her an overdose. He killed her while
The doctor.
The Dr. B overdosed his wife and killed her while I was filling his frickin' freezer
Wow.
full of food. He goes to jail for 4 years, and I took off. I just took off that day.
Because you got it unscathed. You escaped.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just took off. I didn't want any part of that.
Yeah.
But he lost his license, went to prison for 4 years, and went up to Canada. Then that left me.
So he completely just left then with the rest of his family, or just kind of...
Well, no, I left, and he got arrested.
You said he went up to Canada, so...
Well, no, see, after he got out of jail.
Right.
He had a 4-year sentence
Yeah.
for involuntary manslaughter.
Okay.
And I just started talking to, I was still selling food in Indiana.
Okay.
And people told me he took off to Canada because he could still practice on that.
Uh-huh.
He got his license back
see.
up there. So that ended my relationship with Dr. B. And at that time I was, there's different levels of addiction, okay, opioid addiction.
Yes.
By the time this happened was about 4 years after the break, and I had a constant flow going in me. I mean, I
Yeah.
had no problem.
Of course
And all of a sudden, he's gone. But with my business, I was selling to so many doctors. And do you remember the days, they still do it a little bit now, where doctors would band together, 3 or 4 of them would get about 15 nurses and just rent a building, have these clinics.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard about him. I mean, absolutely.
The State College was about 6 of them, and I sold to all of them.
Yeah.
I became friends with the doctors because I had the steak and seafood
Yeah.
that they loved, and I became friends with all the nurses. and they had samples, rooms that were filled with samples, like thousands of them. All the drug companies would just send them samples. These nurses started trading me 300 Vicodin for 10 steaks, 200 this or that. The doctors, when you befriended them back then, all you had to do was tell them you had a pain, and they thought they were doing you a favor.
Yeah.
Here's a script of perks and all that.
Yeah.
So what happened...
And this is before the crackdown on prescription pills. So this is back in the day when everything was free.
And everybody was just having a ball. Nobody knew the dangers of opioid addiction.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So I'm just enjoying my life, and I am what do you call it? An addict to that can function, a functioning addict.
Sure.
But what happened was I was such a good businessman. My business was snowballing. I had 1,000 customers. Okay, I'm gonna go through this a little quicker.
Sure. Yeah.
1,000 customers, and I met the biggest jewelry distributor in Johnstown, Precious Metals and Diamonds Company. Befriended him. Mm-hmm. I was still a functioning addict with this business kicking. I started buying jewelry off of him. I bought $1,000 worth. 2 years later, I had 3 jewelry stores, and I had 9 employees. So I got the steak and seafood going to 9 different towns in the state of Pennsylvania and Maryland, 3 jewelry stores, Huntington State College and Altoona. But then I lumped them all together into one gigantic one. Okay, mm-hmm. Let's see, it was around all my food customers. Tyrone, Pennsylvania, was the center of Clearfield State College, Du Bois, Phillipsburg.
That was kind of the spearhead.
I had a whole building.
Yes.
I bought a building, and
that was your office.
Yeah,
the home office.
We had a mezzanine. I had a grand opening with over 1,000 people coming, and my connection, I got cut off. I was taking OxyContin.
Yeah.
The doctor was a jewelry customer of mine. He was giving me 260 milligram OxyContin a day, and that was keeping me okay.
Yes.
His nurse was my jewelry manager. She caught me snorting one, calls him up the day before the grand opening of the new store, tells on me. He does not wean me off them, but he gets scared because I snorted one.
Sure.
He cuts me off. So I'm at this grand opening with 1,000 people coming, and basically in Tux we had shrimp and lobster catered to it. I had people coming from Maryland. And
you weren't there?
I knew.
Mentally.
No, I was there.
Mentally.
But 3 hours I knew I was going to be on the floor in the fetal position, throwing up. So right then and there, I was 42 years old. Guy says, I'm going to save you. Throws a bag of heroin down on the table. That was always a bad word to me.
Yeah.
I snorted it. Everything went great. I got through the show. 3 years after that, I was running the back streets of Altoona with the junkyard dogs, living in a trailer with no heat, carrying $800,000 worth of jewelry in my frickin' truck in jewelry cases. Walked out of a $200,000 home.
Unreal.
They repossessed it. I only had 50 grand on it. Left my jewelry stores, and I was dying. See, I had a couple $100 grand in the bank, and I owned almost $1 million in jewelry. Heroin addiction, opioid addiction, plus unlimited funds equals death. Totally equals death.
Amen.
I was dying a quick death, like 4 or 5. I was down to 120 pounds. Then I had an epiphany.
Yeah.
Because I'd go to a graveyard every day.
Okay.
And I'd sit in that graveyard and shoot up 30 times.
Yeah. And miss 60.
Yeah. That's the only place I felt safe.
Sure.
It's the only place I felt comfortable was in a freaking graveyard.
Yeah.
So my plan was to go for 2 more weeks writing bad checks because I was out of cash, and then I was going to commit suicide. So 2 more weeks would go.
Yeah.
But then basically I said to myself, you're going to have to lose everything. You're going to have to save yourself. To save your life, Craig, you must get rid of any earthly value, material, any money, anything of importance. You've got to become one with the planet.
And this is while you have what you have on your person, correct?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I gave the jewelry away. I had a bunch stolen. I just became one with, I became broke.
Yes.
Like, picture like a naked person just walking up out of a damn field.
Yes.
And I went to White Deer Run.
I'm familiar with that.
They kept me there for 90 days.
90 days.
90 days.
Wow.
They said that they've never seen anybody as track marked as me.
Huh.
Because of the fact that I remember at the end, I couldn't even see anymore. I was half blind. I was letting a girl try to shoot me in the jugular vein. I didn't have any veins left anymore.
Wow.
But see, I went through these stages and I should be dead. And I'm writing a book because in and out of all these things, I was always a go-getter. I was lost in the jungles of Mexico.
Yeah.
I was thrown in prison twice, raped. I was raped by 2 female guards. That was brutal.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
It's terrible.
Oh, I bet.
Well, one weighed 300 pounds. That was pretty brutal. Yeah.
Starting to look like the wall.
She liked oral sex, if you want to even think how much grosser.
I don't even want to think about it.
So anyways, there are so many things that happened to me, but I finally, through the grace of God, I will say that there is a higher power.
Sure.
I have been clean now for 7 years, and I am on a mission. I have no money. I just kind of get along. I get by, but you know what? I'm getting happy.
That's all that matters, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And
it's not an easy task.
All I want's a platform. All I want is to get me started. And I, like the day I almost took off with Okaninanu, which is another thing we'll talk about. I was a radio broadcaster. I want a platform, and hopefully people will be seeing me or hearing about me.
Well, I'll tell you what, your story is definitely an inspiration. Hearing that all out. Not a lot of people have the story that you do, but a lot of people can resonate with it. I know that I can personally, and that's what makes it so relatable. And I think that a lot of us need to be more open with our addictions and our issues.
That's what I'm going to do. It needs to come out of the closet, buddy. Do you know there's a culture of people that I call them paycheck junkies? There is hundreds of thousands of people that are living in hell on earth, below well.
Right.
They get their paycheck. They take their pills, sell half of them. 2 weeks out of the month, they feel okay. 2 weeks out of the month, they're in withdrawal.
Yep.
They hate life. They gave up on hope. They gave up on love. They gave up on everything. I want to get a place. They can get 15 acres. The federal government donated 15 acres, funded a building to save rabbits, geese, animals, okay? I want a place where any addict that is lost, that's lost all his loved ones, that's lost anything that care, because that's what we want. We want to love and be loved.
That's it.
We need hope, and we need something to believe in.
Especially on our lowest of lows.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's why a lot of people don't want to get clean. They give up on it. I want to have a place where people say, I've lost everybody that loves me. I've lost everything I had in life. But there is one place I can go where I will be understood, where I will be with brothers and sisters who know what I've been through and that. Damn it, I'm going to head to that place, wherever it's in Montana, wherever.
What makes it any different than any other rehab?
It's not going to be a rehab.
Okay.
This is after you're clean.
Okay.
You have to be clean to be there.
Okay.
But you're going to want to be clean to get there. But so many people will get clean and relapse, because they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
When you don't have any hope and you don't think that you have a life anymore, or you don't have any more love, what the hell? I might as well keep taking my pills, and I might as well just, stay in this frickin' below well is what I call it.
Yeah.
If people have somewhere to go where from one addict to another, we understand each other.
Yeah.
And we're like a brotherhood. We're like we've been through a battle, You
absolutely have. I mean, that's, like I said, I think your story is very inspirational. And the same disease that affected you affected me personally. And so I can relate to a lot of things that you said. I've lost a lot of friends. I'm thankful enough to still have my family in my life, which I am so thankful for, because as you know...
Bless you. I lost mine.
Yeah. It's a lot of people will lose it to that disease.
You know what I need? What's your first name again?
I'm Brandon. Mike.
Brendan. Brendan, all I need is some juice behind me.
Yeah.
And I will get something going, and I want to so bad. I'm not going to quit till I do it, because I don't quit.
Well, I'll tell you what, Craig. I am pumped. I'm pumped to see the outcome of how this all pans out. I think that you're a brilliant storyteller. I think that you have a lot of good things. I'm seeing like pages of, a book coming together, or just maybe random thoughts. But it's cool to see like the creative mind. I think that. That's the one thing that's kind of saved me and kind of pushed me towards sobriety was
I can tell.
my creative mind, and I think that playing off of that and moving forward is important. So it's been fun. I appreciate you letting me into your home and showing me what you have.
Anytime.
So I appreciate it, man.
The truth will set me free, and it has.
Amen.